Hello, dear colleague. Rouge, beige, barrage, usual, vision, pleasure, measure, sure, Asia, Russia, tension, barrage, fresh, beige, brush, rouge, push. Did you watch Treasure Island on television yesterday? No, I watched a program called Leisure Time. Measure for measure. Reading for pleasure. Casualty. The color purple and the color beige. Vision of the future. Make similar conversations about these television programs. Dialogs. Leisure and Pleasure General Stores, can I help you? Good morning. There's something wrong with my television. Can you arrange to repair it? How long have you had the television? I bought it in January. What's the problem? The picture keeps jumping. Just a moment. Our engineer is free on Tuesday after lunch. Could you manage something sooner? I want to watch television before Tuesday. I'll put it down as an urgent repair. Engineer usually goes in at lunchtime. I'll try and catch him then. Thank you for completing the exercises of this small lesson. And let me tell you, eat as pleasure, drink with measure. Cheerio. Hello, dear colleague. R sound is one of my favorites. In America, it is known as R, not in British though. Bright, berry, carry, ride, rest, read, wrong, right, wrist, rye, rack, wrap. Brown, brave, bread, ring, tree, truth, spring, street, group, green, friend, every. Is that Richmond Travel Agency? No, this is British Rail Inquiries. Sorry, wrong number. Radio rentals. Robin's Record Shop. Rent a car. Refrigerator retailers. The Regency Restaurant. A Royal Free Hospital. The Electricity Company. The Rates Office. Can I borrow your ruler? Sorry, Ruth borrowed it yesterday and she hasn't returned it. Aberrant. Error. Irrational. Erratic. Referral. Irregular, erroneous, unerring, irrelevant. Multiple-syllable phrases. To return, rarity, to reroute, a skating rink, Rose, reread this story, please. Good evening. My name is Bridget Rees. I've got a room reserved. Oh, Miss Rees, we thought you were coming tomorrow. We have reserved a room for you tomorrow night. Tomorrow night? But I wrote you. I made the arrangements by phone. Then I wrote and confirmed the reservation. Don't worry, I'm sure there's a room free tonight. Yes, room 3 is free. Would you sign the register and I'll ring for the porter. He'll carry your cases to your room. Announcer. The Leeds Opera Company has just produced an opera by the Italian composer Carino. Carino wrote the opera in 1803 and it was performed in Rome and London. Then it was lost. It was only found last year, locked up in a drawer in an old London library. Here on the program tonight is a leading singer from the Leeds Opera Company, Gillian Reed. Gillian, tell us what the opera is about. Roger offered Mary to hire a car. What for? She wondered. To drive along the central streets of the city, he answered. Strange desire, because the roads are too narrow in the centre. But really, have some spare time. We'll drive for 3 or 4 hours and later we'll have some rest, he promised. Player, helper, brother, blur, mother. The Dodgers weren't only baseball players but also great fellas. The runner staggered over the hill because of the blur. First, thirsty, earnest, hurdle, word. Herman was the first to win 30 games. Herman first learned 20 new words. Sure, more, before, door, explore. 14 boring sportsmen adorned the shore. 40 gory creatures poured through the French doors. Car, Harvard, sergeant, guard, mark. The archer got out of the arbour unharmed. Archie told him to park the car in Harvard Yard. Sincere, here, queer, appear, sheer. Don't jeer at me, I'm not weird. The steering wheel is near the gear shift. Hair, pear, rare, barely, bear. Where did the polar bear go? There was an air of excitement which is rare. Endure, tour, sure, allure. You're sure you can endure the long tour. Poor hunters offer to allure tall pacifists. Summer went faster and further than winter. Herman was the first to win 30 games. Father Charles argues about the God's identity cards. More and more support came forth for the orphans party. Pay your fare and then tell the driver where to stop. Be sincere, my dear. It's a queer world. I'm secure that velour will endure. Very, sorry, miracle, adore it, more and more, but soar at me, a pair of socks, I prefer it. I'm sorry at you, because you prefer everybody else's cooking. Trevor Adams had to be carried out for the convention hall year after year. Frown, trout, frivol, cricket, crowd, thrill, freezing, creature, proud, trail, fragrant, crazy, privacy, tricky, thrifty, principle, treason, traitor, primitive, traitor, threshold, briefcase, bridegroom, bribery, brevity, greenish, grievous, gruesome, gracious, drowsy, drastic, dreamless, dreadful, profession, promotion, proposal, prognosis, Croatia, frustration, triathlon, triangular, best treason, late risers, hate trash, commit treason, Robert tries it, it's trash, light train, old drugs, acid rain, an early train, illegal drugs, down the drain, birth rate, neglect threats, sweep proofs, give proofs, deep wrinkles, cheap printers, the London-York route. Those people were easy to recruit. He witnessed panic rising. There was a fear of a new crisis. A link in R. Father-in-law, mother-in-law, daughter and son, brother and sister, father and mother, a lecture on history, a picture of a city, a teacher of French, a tour of Scotland, a Tower of London, dead or alive, sooner or later, ask for a favor, German or English, partner or colleague. After all, for example, for instance, more important, a matter of time, a number of things, a letter of complaint, a pair of jeans, the winner of the race, the leader of the team, the Speaker of the Parliament, the author of the novel. A liar ought to have a good memory. Advice is like snow, the softer it falls, the longer it dwells. Samuel Coleridge. Tongue twisters. The rat ran through the river with a lump of raw liver. Round and round the rugged rock the raggedly rascal ran. Ronalds ran rapidly while rhyming. Reading bells ring rapidly, and reeds rustle round rivers. Rolling on the roaring river, the rowing raft rolled over. As the roaring rocket rose, the restless monsters rollicked. Rustle of trees and ripple of rain, roaring of rivers across the plain. Richard gave Robin a rap in the ribs for roasting his rabbit so rare. Strawberries, raspberries, and red currants with real cream are really refreshing. Richard is in the kitchen fetching some cheese for the children. Rose has 2 red rulers from her friend in her room. Rumbling in the chimneys, rattling at the doors, round the roofs and round the roads the rude winds rose, raging through the darkness, raving through the trees, racing off again across the great grey seas. Thank you very much for completing the exercises of the lesson together with me. It was Michelangelo. See you in the next lesson. Cheerio. Hello, dear colleague. J sound. Witches, sandwiches, breeches, bridges, badge, beige, general, gendarme, message, massage, carriage, garage, judge. That judge had a grudge against George. Judges aren't allowed to have grudges. Well, that judge had a grudge. So he sent George to jail. Poor George. Poor Jill. Jill? His wife's called Jacqueline. Poor Jacqueline. In just a few hours, we do the next part of the journey by plane, so jump into bed and get some rest, John. Will it be a jet, Uncle Jim? Probably a jet. A jumbo jet? Probably. Well, good night, John. Just think, a jumbo jet, Uncle. Good night, John. Imitates jumbo jet. Sleep tight, John. J, measure, j, job, this, s, yes. This is a job for you to do. What time? The usual time. Where? The usual place. Is it dangerous? I imagine so. These jobs usually are. Yes. Enjoy yourself. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure. And now, if you don't mind, I have another engagement, so see you later, perhaps. You measured me in July, Mr. Jennings. Yes, sir, but I'd rather measure you again. Oh, yes, just a small adjustment here, sir. So my bulge is getting larger. It's middle age. It's only a small adjustment, sir. That's what you said when you measured me in July. Child. Job. That. And which child is this? That's Charles. What a large child.
All my children are large.
And which child is this?
That's James.
Was an agile child.
All my children are agile.
And which child is this?
It's Joanna. Joanna hopes to go to college.
All my children go to college. One more dialogue.
You can't do that.
Of course I can. It's my bridge.
But you can't chop it down.
It's my bridge and I'm chopping it down.
Don't chop it down. How shall we cross? We can't manage without it.
Well, you'll just have to jump. The bridge begins to collapse. Jump! Jump! Well, I did jump. Why didn't he? Tongue twisters. Jolly General Jimmy Jones joked with Japanese John. Jumping jacks make Joe jingle. Jean, Joan, George and Gerald judge generally. Jolly Jack and Joyful Jim jumping down the jagged hill. John Johnson joined jealous Jenny Jerry making apple jelly. Jane and Jelly in their blue jackets are watching the jaguar in the cage. It was a joy for Jack and George, the German boys, to cross the large bridge before entering the village. Jackie Joyful jumps Jupiter. Can you imagine an imaginary manager imagining managing an imaginary managery? Thank you for completing the exercises of this lesson. See you in the next lesson. Cheerio. Hello, dear colleague. Ch. Chin. Rich. Match. Butcher. Kitchen. Future. Nature. Picture. Cottage cheese. State gestures. French chocolate. Large choice. Arrange championships. Sweet jobs. Teach juniors. Change judgments. Eat child. Cleanse jaws. Cat germs. Orange juice. Huge catches. Mud chance. Beat chair. Common confusions and mistakes. Small shops are often expensive. Small chops are often expensive. The dishes need cleaning. The ditches need cleaning. I couldn't mash these things up. I couldn't match these things up. She enjoys washing the children. She enjoys watching the children. It's quite cheap. A white sheep. A hot cheese sandwich. Don't cheat. A great chance. A fat child. It's very cheap. A great chair. A cheese sandwich. You cheat. No chance. A pretty child. Ship. Chip. Sherry. Cherry. Shoes. Choose. Sheep. Cheap. Share. Chair. Shops. Chops. Washing. Watching. Cash. Catch. Mash. match, wish, which, crutch, crutch, dishes, ditches. You can play chess, can't you? You were a chess champion, weren't you? Now say these sentences adding question tags. You're still a champion chess player. And the answer probably is, you're still a champion chess player, aren't you? You were beaten by a 7-year-old child. And the answer is probably, you were beaten by a 7-year-old child, weren't you? You think she's a future champion. And here the answer is probably, you think she's a future champion, don't you? Advertisement. Improve your education with Bishop's Special Shoe Polish. Feel fresh after you shave. Advertise in Musicians Weekly. Make your shoes shine. The freshest fish in town. Are you a musician with ambition? With the Shorter English Dictionary New Edition. It's new. It's smashing. Use fresh afternoon lotion. Straight from the ship to the shop. Crash, the new instant mashed potato. Dialogs. Which flat shall we choose? Well, the one in Churchill Square had a lovely kitchen, but the one in Church Street was cheaper. Yes, Church Street was much cheaper. Never mind the kitchen. Let's choose the cheap one. Cheat, treat, chasing, tracing. True, true, checking, tracking. Chase, trace, chimney, trimming. Chance, trance, Cheshire, treasure. Choose, truce, chastity, trustworthy. Cham, tram. Why should you be sure? She's an accomplished musician. Stop shouting and pushing, Charlie. Idioms. Actions speak louder than words. Physicians mend us or end us. Misfortunes never come alone. Neither fish nor flesh. Misfortunes tell us what fortune is. That's where the shoe pinches. Friendship in trouble, friendship sure. Better short of pence than short of sense. Don't cross the bridge till you get to it. A drowning man will catch at a straw. Little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Too much water drowned the miller. Tongue twisters. Children chuckle cheerily. Charles Dickens has chickens. Charlie chooses cheese and cherries. Cheerful children chant charming tunes. One must not touch the Dutch too much. The child watched his teacher and fetched him the chalk. Charles and Richard chewed cheese and chewed gums. Charles is a cheerful chicken farmer. He chuckles at the chance of a choice chicken to chew for his lunch. Mrs. Chip is very old, and when she settles down to stitch, unless she uses spectacles, she cannot see which stitch is which. Dear colleague, thank you for completing the exercises of the lesson with me. See you in the next lesson. Cheerio!